Today we're going to be making some handmade gifts. I'm Brandy, and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome. The first project is going to be a lantern swag. Now, I got this lantern. It was gifted to me, actually, from a lady who was moving, and she had a bunch of boxes of decor pieces, and she gave them to me. This one happened to still be working beautifully. It looks like it was barely touched. There's no dust on it. It's clean. It looks great. You can also thrift these or buy them. It's about 16 inches by maybe 8 inches. To give you an idea, I've got a deer pick in gold. Very pretty. 2 of these pieces of branches from Temu. And then I have a pick that I got at the thrift store. It's a little squished, but you can fluff these up and bring them back to life. Just, turn everything around, make sure the front of the leaves are forward, space them out a little bit, and then fluff the flower out. Look how beautiful. It's got gold in the middle. I'm going to grab a couple of different ribbons. I got some wide, some thin, some are linen, and some are burlap. Look at this one. This one is very pretty. My husband ordered this for me on Amazon, I do believe. All right, so this is how I decide how long I want my swag to be. I'm going to go ahead and lay my base pieces together and then put them on the lantern in a way that I would like for them to be once I get my little swag part together, so that it's on the top a little bit, but more of it hangs toward the bottom. So I'm just going to take the little wire that's already in there and wrap it around just to give it its first little way to connect it. Trim off anything that sticks out. Then if it's not solid enough, you can go ahead with some floral wire and reinforce it so that everything stays in place, because once you put the flower on and we add a bow, we're going to need to fluff, and we don't want anything to fall apart. So I'm just going to wind this around, make sure the little pokey ends are flat, because if you're giving this as a gift, you certainly do not want to also give them a bill for bandages for poking holes in their fingers on Christmas Day. Right? Right. Okay, now I'm just going to hang this on here how I think it would look good. Someone had already put a little twist in the end, and it worked great as a little hanger on my piece of branch. I'll take some more floral wire and connect these together. Now, if you want to use pipe cleaners, you can. If you want to use zip ties, you can. Now, I'm getting an idea. Is it going to stay there long enough? I'm going to add more to it. How am I going to arrange this flower? I'm just going to move it around a little bit to see what is pleasing to the eye. This is like a velvet texture on this beautiful poinsettia. It's really rich and beautiful. Then I'll take that gold deer and just push him down where they're already wound together. It happens to be on a pick, so you can actually, it's like a metal piece. You can actually reposition that, bend it so it leans forward. And that's what I want to do so that there's no gap between the back of that flower and the branches. I want the deer to stand out a little bit. Now the piece of pick that this is on is very stiff. There's no way I'm going to wind that around. So I'm just going to take some floral wire, make a little hook out of it so it goes through easily. And then I will start twisting that in place with that. I just kind of keep my hand on it until I feel like it's caught in there. Then you can reposition it a little bit and add some hot glue, cut off edges. You know how you do it. Make sure everything is beautiful and secure. Especially when gift giving, you want to make sure that this is going to hold up. Now, what I have is Gorilla Glue, but you can certainly use something else like E6000 to keep everything in place for years to come. Moving on down that swag branch, I'm going to add another piece to hold that pick from the deer in place. But you could always cut it off if you wanted to. It just gives it a little more stability, so I'm going to leave it. I'll cut off the edges, make sure that the twisted part is pushed inward so no one cuts their fingers, because after Christmas they could remove the swag and use that lantern in another way. Now I want to make a bow, but if that's not your thing, it's totally okay. I'm going to stretch out these 2 pieces and decide what I want to do for a bow. So at the 18-inch mark here, I'm just going to put my finger down so I know where my length is, and I'm going to fold it over so that we have a 9-inch loop. I'm going to fold again because we already have that measurement. We don't have to use the ruler again. Just keep folding until you get 2 loops on the left, 2 loops on the right, and you can just look to make sure. I'm not going to put tails on this part yet. We're going to do separate tails, so I'm just going to cut it off. I'll take the next ribbon, and we're going to go down to 16 inches for this one. Grab that spot, fold it over, and we're going to make 8-inch loops. Same process, fold and fold and fold until you get 2 loops on each side, and trim that down. Okay, I'm just going to put those together so I get an idea and it looks good. Going to go down another 2 inches to 14, and we're going to make some loops with that burlap. Same thing, 2 on each side. This is not a difficult bow, y'all, and you can definitely use scraps if you want to use scraps to make this. I'll cut that off, and then I'll take the smallest ribbon. There's some similar to this at Dollar Tree. We're going to go down to 12 inches, which will make 6-inch loops. And in this one, we're going to do, I'm going to wrap it and wrap it and wrap it. I did 4 where there were 2 on each side, and then I cut 1 in half because I wanted to make it be 3. So totally up to you. You can do 1 loop on one side and 2 on the other. Just spare your time. I'm going to stack these up almost like a little pyramid. Everything's centered. And then I will use a zip tie. I'm going to put it on top, flip it over, and then feed this through. Now right before I cinch it all the way down, I'm going to pleat it just slightly with my hands and then squeeze it very tightly. We'll trim off the excess. Then I'm going to take a thin piece of floral wire and feed underneath there because, as usual, I did not put anything to attach it to on there before we put on the zip tie. But a thin piece of floral wire will get right down in there easily for you. So don't worry if you forget. I always forget. Okay, so to make the tails, I am going to go with 18 and 4, which makes 22 inches. So we will have a 22-inch tail here. I'm going to take the next piece of ribbon and go down by about 2 inches, and we're going to step down just like we did with the bow. See, I've moved the ruler, and now I'm just going by my eye. And then again, we got all 4 pieces. I'm going to stack those in the exact same way that we did with the bow, the same pattern. I love the different textures all together and the different prints and some solid in there. I think it looks very nice, very woodland, and very on point for the style that, you know, most people are going for, seems to be going for this holiday season. Loving the woodland look. All right, so I bent it so I would see right where my crease was in the middle, and then I'm going to take a zip tie, go around that middle, make sure everything didn't, you know, make sure it's all there, not slipped out of place, and then I'm going to cut that part off. I'm just going to flex and bend it in half. Then I can attach it with the same piece of floral wire that's on the middle of the bow. Okay, now you can draw a little bit of attention to the bow tails and cut those as slants, or you may dovetail them if you would like. I just like a little something done to the tails rather than leaving them raw and blunt. Then I'll get my placement back. I can bend a little bit because we still have the wire that's down the length of here. Then I'm going to take a piece of floral wire to attach that down. And I'm just going to do it right around the neck part, or you could call this the top part, wherever you want to put it, as long as it's attached. And then I'm pushing the little ends down so that, again, no poked fingers. And then you can fluff and you can arrange a little bit till it gets to be the way you like it. Then I'm going to grab that bow we made and attach it down with the same piece of wire that we had left that we connected all of our elements together with. So I'll pull it tight and then twist it around and lock it in place. Then we're going to start fluffing our bow, and you'll need to stay tuned to the end of the video to see how it looks once it is all fluffed out and the light is lit and it is ready to be presented as a gift to a loved one. You can do this, remember, with thrifted items, with scraps. Maybe you have a lantern in your house that's not your style anymore, but maybe that would be perfect to make for Christmas to give to somebody that you love, and you'll save a lot of money doing it. All right, the next project is going to be wood coasters. I have some dishwasher safe Mod Podge, the squeegee and the brush for Mod Podge. I have some napkins from Dollar Tree, whatever print you like best. And then I have two of these little, it's like a little sitter decor piece. They came from Target originally. All right, I'm going to use sheepskin and a brush, and I'm going to paint the entire top sides of this project. Not the bottom, but you certainly can if you're giving as a gift. Let them dry. Then I'm going to take the plies apart on the towel or the napkin. I can put this aside for another project or throw it away or use it. And then I'll take the napkin and press it down. What I'm doing is the napkins stay together by little crimps or little dots, like little raised braille dots. And I'm going to push those down and smooth them out. And they will if you take your time and be careful and gentle with it, because it is very thin as one ply. So just be gentle and get those spots out so they don't show up on your finished project. Can y'all see I had a fan blowing? Now this is why we put it over white. Can you see the difference between the white and no white background? Whichever way you like it, you go ahead and do it that way. I'm going to add some Mod Podge onto my little coaster. And now these are not the exact same size. They are not. They're the same height. One of them is more of a rectangle and the other one is almost an exact square. So either way, doesn't matter. We're going to use them. Now if you have something else that you can use, like the little tiered tray pieces, you can paint over them and use those. Just be sure you use some type of water resistant Mod Podge, which makes the dishwasher safe perfect. So I'll find a section that I really like on this paper towel or this napkin. And again, I don't know if I even mentioned this, but it does have little words written in cursive like Noel and Joy. I want to make sure that I catch at least one word in there. After I've got it squeegeed down, I'm going to just cut off the big piece on the side so I don't tear it, because I'm going to use that for the other side. I'm slightly going to crease it. Now remember, this is very fragile, so just be careful when you do this. Be very light-handed when you do this. The glue is still wet, and I'm going to just press down on the edges and start pinching and pulling away from the coaster. Easy to do, but if you don't trust yourself, flip it over where it is face down on the table and try pulling it off. But that's not going to work if you use too much glue, right? Got to be careful. So now, just using an emery board on a clean edge, I'm going to start sanding off downward and away from the project. And we're going to get a nice, pretty clean edge by doing this. Y'all, I just got back from Mexico and I feel absolutely wonderful. We went to Cozumel and we went to Progreso, and our tour guides were fantastic, and we just enjoyed our excursions so much. I went with my sister and two of my cousins, and this is one that is definitely going to be remembered for the rest of our lives. And I hope they enjoyed it as much as me. Okay, now we're going to use the same process with the next one. I sped it up just a little bit. But this way you know exactly what you're doing, because, again, I cannot stress how gentle you have to be or you will tear this off. So just, take your time on this one. But I think the payoff is really nice because they end up looking store-bought. I'm trying to get as many wrinkles as I can out carefully. You may still have a wrinkle or a bubble because, that happens. It'll just give it more of an aged look. We're going to call it that, right? Yeah, you did it on purpose, right? You did it on purpose. So same process here. We're going to sand off, make that nice and clean around the edges. By the way, if you're thinking of using a different colored paint underneath, I would steer you toward using something that is very light creams and whites, because if you use something darker, you are not going to be able to see the detail in the beautiful napkin. So just keep that in mind, okay? And it will be more sheer if you do it without any paint on it. You'll see through it. Look at these. These are so cute. Okay, after that's dry, I'm going to go back over it with my Mod Podge. just to make sure that I had sealed everything in. It takes about 20 days as cure time for these to get them definitely ready to give as a gift and to be waterproof. So keep that in mind. You might want to make these today. But they don't cost a lot of money and they're very, very sweet. And just think, you could do one coaster for each person in your family with a couple of different packs of napkins to make a little something for everybody that you love. People need coasters for Cokes and water and coffee and hot chocolate. You could even put this in a hot chocolate gift bag. Very cute. Then, after they are dry, they look like this. Go ahead and paint your back sides. Of course, I'm going to use ribbon, a little piece of this holly, and then a little burlap bag. The bag was thrifted, but you can find these pretty much anywhere now. All right, so we're going to make a package for this. We're going to package these up. I'm putting those in there. I'm going to wrap them in tissue, fold it over. I'm going to put it in my burlap bag. We're going to get this ready to be given as a gift, right? From the start to the finish, I'm going to show you how to give this as a gift. I know I want the holly to hang down, so I'll just put that there, push it aside, and we'll get started on a bow. Now, this ribbon is not wired, and it is from burlapfabric.com. I got this last year and used it in some crafts, and I'm going to use the remainder of the ribbon in a big floppy bow. This is very easy to tie. This is a simple bow to do. This is like a shoestring bow, so don't stress about it being difficult to do. And if you just want to put the holly with no bow, you can certainly do that. You could even pop a candy cane on here if you wanted to, as a little extra sweet right through the middle of the knot. So all you see me doing now is adjusting the length of the loops by pulling the tails of the bow. Once it is the way that we like it, I'm going to add a little hot glue right up there to hold it in place. We can dovetail the ends. I'll cut them at a slant, and you can also use smaller ribbon. You don't have to use the 1.5 inch like I have here. I'm going to cut that off. The fabric is very similar in this bow as what's in that bag, which makes it wonderful. And this is really not a burlap bag. This is like cotton. It's not burlap. So I'm going to hot glue it in place, and then to slip it under, trim it off just a little bit so that it fits under there a little more snugly. Just cutting the cap off there. A little bit of hot glue, tuck it right in. And this is ready to go under the tree for somebody on Santa's nice list. This is such a cute gift. Plus, they get the gift of the bag. You can watch my videos on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. It's free to subscribe. I'll see you in the comments. Okay, for the next two projects, we're going to use a cup, a tart pan, some sprinkles or glitter. We're going to use a little bit of ribbon. I have cinnamon stick here. You can get yours at Dollar Tree. You can also get mini pine cones at Dollar Tree. Sometimes they're in the little bags with other like little potpourri or whatever. You can use those. And then I am also going to get 2 candles, one for each project, from Dollar Tree. The first is going to be the candle and the cup. I've never made a candle on my channel. This is not an original idea by any means. Lots of people do candles, but it's my first time, so I wanted to share the experience with you if this is your first time. I'm going to melt the candles. Magic word is candle, y'all. The magic word is candle, and I want you to tell me also, what is your favorite candle scent? Okay, so I'm taking the wick out. I'm just going to use the wax that is already on there to fix it to the bottom of this little metal cup. I'll pull up the wick, gently twist it around so it doesn't come apart from the bottom, and just lay it off to the side so it's not in the way. I'm going to take some cinnamon essential oils. I put about 25-30 drops into this candle. And the candles shrink significantly once you light them. They end up not even covering half of the jar. So just so you know that. I'm going to mix in my scent. You can use whatever scent you like. If you like fir or pine or evergreen of any type, you can use that. Now for this little metal cup, which I thrifted, it took an entire candle. So I'm going to pour that in. While it's still hot and melty, I'm going to drop in broken pieces of peppermint stick. This is actual real peppermint stick. And when you break it, the smell is beautiful. It was just heavenly. It's not artificial at all. It's different. It's different. I'm going to add some pine cones in here, almost like they're frozen in ice. Just going to push those around, and then I'm going to grab some pine from my backyard. I'm going to cut this pine into little bits and pieces and let them fall right into that wax. Down, down, down it goes, right into the wax. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. And keep in mind, you don't want to put the wood in there. You know, it could be flammable. So, you know, this is a candle and it's in a safe container. You just do your research to make sure that you do everything as safe as possible. This is just me. This is mine, and you just take inspiration from it. I wanted to use a little bit of what I already have, and I thought the pine and the cinnamon would smell wonderful together. Okay, we'll set that one aside. We're going to do a candle and a mold. So these are the same that you've seen me use in the little tart pan video. So a mold or a tart pan. I'm going to use a little bit of Gorilla Glue to attach this one down, just to show you some options of ways I've seen it done. I got it right in the middle. I'll take another little stick or kebab stick. You can use a pen, you can use a paintbrush, whatever you want to use. I'm just going to give it a light twist, just to be sure that it doesn't fall down into the wax once I walk away to let it dry. This time I'm going to add a little less of the drops, probably, I don't know, I'm pretty close there, probably, yeah, I was getting near the end of the bottle, so there's probably about 15 drops in there. This candle may actually end up being stronger than the other one. Then I'll swish it around a little bit, and I'm going to pour it into here. I'm not going to fill it all the way to the top. Once those candles have set up just a bit, enough to get like a hard surface on the top, we'll start working on them together. Now we're going to dress the top of both ones of these candles, and we're going to do it a little bit differently on each one. I want to give you ideas and options, and if you're making candles for everybody, just know that you can personalize those. So the wax here is what was left from the tart candle. I'm going to add enough to make almost like a little circle or the center of a flower here. Then I'm going to grab a little bit of this. Now look, y'all, this is edible. I had no idea. I thought this was chunky glitter, but it's actually edible glitter. It is tiny gold and silver stars. But it looks so pretty in here, and it doesn't matter that it's edible. It's going to get burned anyway, right? It might even be a safer option. Of course, if you don't feel like you need to burn these, you don't have to. You can smell them, and they smell wonderful without even burning them. Okay? Now, I'm going to add a layer on the top of this candle. We left room, so it's good. I'm going to take Epsom salt and add in here so that it looks like ice, so that it looks like what we're looking at is a river that is under ice, right? We're walking through the woods, and it's a little spot full of ice. Now, I'm going to cut off my wicks to leave them about a ½ an inch long. This is how this one is going to look, and I will show you how to decorate both of these for gift giving. And then this is how this one's going to look. We're going to shake off the extra once we know that it is set up well. Take that off, and look how pretty. Ugh! I will be making more candles, y'all. Certainly will. Alright, so now here's some Dollar Tree ribbon that I have, and I thought, going along with the whole Wonderland theme, we're going to use this beautiful ribbon with the pine cone and the little birds. Make a little bow. We're going to put this right on the side, because if we want to give this as a gift and we don't want to put it in a container, we could always give it this way. Or maybe you could have one of these at each table setting in your home if you're hosting Christmas dinner at your house, and then everyone could take their candles home to burn them. Remind them to take the decoration off of these before they burn them. You don't want anything catching on fire. This is only decorative for gift giving, and then we're going to remove it. You're going to use some regular hot glue here so that you can easily pop that off for when they want to use it. And then I'm just going to embellish it a little bit with some of that snowy greenery and the little pine cones. Then we can cut the tails. We can dovetail them, or we can cut them in a slant. And I'm going to cut them again to make sure that they're as short as I would like for them to be. I don't want them dragging on the table. So just trim. It's easier to cut a little bit more later than to start off cutting them too short. Okay? One more pine cone here, and this one will be ready. cute. Oh, they smell so good. I can't even explain to you how wonderful they smell. Yum. All right, now let's wrap these candles. We're going to leave the other one as it is, but we're going to wrap this one actually. So I'm just putting this in a little mesh bag. You can sometimes find these at Dollar Tree. I'm not entirely sure where I got this bag. Either they were donated to me or I got them at Goodwill. I'm not sure. I did have some ladies recently donate some things to me, so I'm not entirely sure. We're just going to tie this in a bow. That's very simple, isn't it? If you want to stop there, you can. And this is how it would look. But if you want to add a little more of that woodland kick, we're going to add a tiny ornament. And you can get some, I think about this size at Dollar Tree, some little mini ornaments. And then we're going to cut another piece of that same branch. So we're really stretching our money here. And we're going to add it on this side. And I think that it is ready and perfect for gift giving. Now we're going to do a winter bird sign from a card. I've used cards before. We're going to do it again. Okay, so here is that pic. Here's a beautiful Christmas card. Use one you already have or one you've just bought. And then we have this frame from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the paper and I'm just going to pull that straight off of there. I'm not worried about the screws, and I'm not putting this back on because this will be the back. We're going to use this as the front. Take off your sticker, and then you are going to want to sand around the entire thing to make sure there's no extra glue on there. There's nothing that's going to get in the way. You're going to give it as a gift. You want to take the extra time to make it perfect for gift giving. So sand it off, wipe it down, and then we'll prepare the card. What I'm doing now is just bending over and creasing that card. Just pushing down over that edge. You can put it on the edge of the table, but you won't be able to see me, so I decided to do it this way. You can also add a dot of water to that line to make it come apart easily. I've decided to take some of my Adirondack white and go around all of the edges where the card is not going to reach. And then let that dry. That's going to kind of make it look like this is all one piece rather than giving it a brown background. But you can certainly leave it that way if you chose to do it that way. Options, right? You want to make sure that it is completely dry. I'm using my little drying tool here. Once it is dry and cool, I'm going to take that Mod Podge and go all over, not only the square that is brown, but also all over the white so that our card has enough to stick to. And you want to add enough on here that it is going to cling to the card. You can also put a layer on the back of your card and stick them together. You don't see me doing that, but I actually do that. Okay, I'm trying to find my center. And I'm going to press it down. I'm pulling just a little bit to get it into place. And then I'm going to press it with my hands, and then I'll use my squeegee and my roller to get it in all attached, both sides of the glue. All right. Once it is dry, I'm going to go back in with that same, I'm just using the dishwasher Mod Podge because I already had it out. But you can use the other kind because this is not going to be getting wet. I'm going to go over all of the edges, the bottom, the sides, and I also go over the little part that is the bottom that is holding this together. I'll go over that as well. I'm going to cover the back with craft paper. Then I'm going to start putting some details on here. This little sign is going to be the perfect thing for possibly a nursing home. If you know someone who's in the hospital during the holiday season and could use a little pick-me-up, you could do something like this. It does not take up a lot of room. It could easily sit in a hospital window. It could easily sit on a bedside table. Things like this matter, and you giving back matter at holidays. There's lots of people who have no family that visit them, and this is a very sweet way to just say, I was thinking about you, I love you, and I wish you a Merry Christmas. If you choose not to use the words Merry Christmas, well then pick any card that you like. If it's Hanukkah, go ahead and grab a Hanukkah card. You can use anything. Kwanzaa, you can use Happy Holidays, No judgment here. You use whatever works for you and the one you're giving it to. I think this is a very quick, beginner-friendly gift that anyone would like to receive. Here are the projects that we did today that are perfect for giving gifts. So I have this as 5 projects, but actually we also do wrapping on 2 of them, and we do a little bit of something extra on 1 of them. So I hope that this is going to give you some ideas of how you can spend a little less money to still be generous in the holiday season. Look at the beautiful lantern. If you don't like those colors, you can certainly change it to whatever your theme is or the person that you're giving to. Budget friendly, unique. If you enjoyed this video, I would love to have you become part of the YouTube family by subscribing. Give me a thumbs up to tell me I'm doing a good job. And then hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Remember that November is our subscriber appreciation month. Be sure that you hit that little bell so that you get notifications if you happen to be a winner. I'd love for you to participate in the giveaways that we are doing this year. I love to give back. You know, when you have, you give. That's the way it should be. And because you have blessed my life so much with the comments and the kindness and sharing with me and becoming members, for those of you who are members, by the way, 21 members now. Thank you so much, ladies and gents. I love having y'all as part of our YouTube family as well. All of these things matter so much to you, so I'm saying thank you by giving back. Be sure that you follow the directions. You can find that magic word earlier in the video, and be sure that you do everything that you were supposed to so you have a chance to win. Which one of these do you like best, and which one do you think makes the best gift? Who would you give it to? Thank you again so much for stopping by and spending your time with me today. I wish you a joyful day, a happy holiday season, and I'm going to see you very, very soon. Bye.